Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on Lab 2. We will go through the first few steps here this week, week 5, CIS 4670. Okay, so in this lab, you're going to do it in GNS3. You're going to need a router, a switch, a simple dumb switch. You don't have to use one of the 3645s. I would suggest you use the the 7200 for the router. And you're going to have to build a VM. So with this, what we're going to do is we're going to link the router via DHCP to the internet. Now, if you do this on your home network, you may have to change the link slightly in GNS3, or you may have to home it to a different interface. I will go through that at the time. So let's go ahead and right now start GNS3. Actually, let's read through all this. We're going to configure a router for the appropriate protocols and network setup. It doesn't matter whether you want to use static or dynamic routing. You are going to set up a workstation network, and you're going to set up a VM with Windows Server 2012. Okay, that supports Active Directory. You're going to configure the router with the host name Campus R1 as the host name. Disable CDP on interfaces and globally. Set up your server 2012 R2 as an Active Directory controller, Active Directory role, and automatically set up DNS when you do that. You're going to secure DNS. Hint, here's a good link. So there's a TechNet link from Microsoft for that on how to secure DNS. This is a really critical aspect of network security because 50+% of organizations out there don't do this. And when information gets stolen, a lot of times it happens due to a DNS poisoning attack. All right, our DNS poisoning attack is part of the attack from an external source. Then I want you to set up an antivirus solution. I don't care which one. You can download a free version. You can use Windows Defender. Just configure it. And then fully patch the server via your internet link. So let's go ahead and get started. Then throw up workstation and GNS3. All right. So from here, I need to have media for my server 2012 box. So you can get that from DreamSpark. If you don't know how to get to DreamSpark, I always have to Google it myself. Cal Polypomona Dreams. All right, so it's the first one there. You will have to log in with your there's the link right there. You'll have to log in with your CPP credentials. Unless you have just a generic. Well, I guess it does want that. There we go. And you can gain access to the appropriate server operating system. There's server 2012 R2. Okay. Now, if you want to use 2016, I'm not going to stop you. If you'd rather do this with 2016, okay, that's fine. You knock yourself out. I'll grade it the same. Because the UI experience between 2016 and 2012 R2 is very similar. Very, very similar. So when you download that ISO, let me find mine. I know I have it here somewhere. There it is right there. When you download and extract it, you'll have that ISO. Also, when you download it, it will give you a CD key. Make sure that you annotate that CD key somewhere because you'll have to use that you may have to use that during installation or configuration. Okay, but right now I need to copy this into my C drive somewhere. And that'll take a minute or two, or 5, or 10. Sorry?
What happened to Dream Spark? I'm sorry. Yeah, you were doing that, then you went to the Windows server.
I was going over DreamSpark. I did not actually download it, but you would click on this, and then you would go through the download process, add to your card. It's all free.
Yeah, I got you.
Right, and then when you do go through the download process, it will give you a CD key. You need to annotate that, record that, copy it, paste it, save it in a file. You may need it later. Okay, so as that is downloading, I'm going to go ahead and go into GNS3 here, and I'm going to entitle my lab CIS -4670 -lab2 B Brown. Okay, I'll open that up. I'm not going to do that right now, some other time. And I've already integrated my routers in here previously from Lab 1. So I'm just going to grab my 7200 and drag it over. And I'm just going to grab a generic switch. I don't need to have anything. There we go. I was looking for a different icon. There it is. That's what I was looking for, Ethernet switch. Okay. And I'm going to try to make this look as similar as possible. So I want to make sure that I have 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 interfaces for my router. An interface for my workstation network, and an interface for my my VM that I'm going to create here in a little bit. So for this, oops, I'm going to rename this workstation LAN. Okay. I'm going to go right click and click configure and make sure I have 3. So yeah, I'm good. I have 3 GEs. Yes? I'm sorry? Why are you downloading a virtual machine? Oh, no, you don't want core. You want it with the UI and just get the... I haven't gotten to that part yet. I haven't... Is that asking you on the download?
No, it's just there's 5 options on the Dream Spark, and then I'm just trying to figure out which one.
Oh, right here. Oh, these actually come in virtual machines. That's interesting. You don't need a language packs. I know that. Well, let me look. Let me see if it's done uploading. Looks like it is. It's in my documents. So it just says server 2012 R2 with update x64. I think it's just a standard, to be honest with you. I think so. If it's not the standard, it could be the data center with update 64-bit. Yeah, it's one of these two. All right. Either one you can put in Active Directory services, I'm pretty sure. So, anyway, let's see here. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So I have my 3 interfaces. That's great. So I am just going to now create a link actually 2 links for the other 2 items in my topology diagram. One for the VM and one for the internet. So I'm going to look for a NAT, because that's basically what it's going to be. All right. And then I'm going to grab a server. It doesn't really matter. Windows Server. Category guest, product Windows Server, Microsoft stable, require KV. Oh, I don't need that. Hold on. Oh, I've got to create it. That's what it is. Hold on. New appliance template. So we're going to add a VMware virtual machine. But I don't think I can do this until I actually have it built. So we'll come back to that. All right, so kind of skipping around here a little bit. Let me power on my router and let me connect. Actually, let me go to properties. No node information. All right, well, that's wrong. There we go. Cloud. All right. See how it defaults to that IP address? We got to change it here a little bit. Configure. There we go. So we need to tie this to one of my interfaces that has internet connectivity. So my interface that has internet connectivity is I'm connected to CPP. Perfect. So I'm going to click Add. I'm sorry. Click Show Special Ethernet Interfaces. And I believe it is my wireless network connection.
And that's fine for us at our home too.
Yeah, just make sure it is connected. You want to get the connection that is connected to the internet. Click Add. And from here, okay, there's nothing else really we have to do. We're just going to click Apply and OK. And now we should be able to tie in this to one of our gig interfaces. So I'm going to tie it into gig 10. There we go. And I'm going to tie in my switch right now to gig 20. And gig 30 will tie into my VM at the appropriate time. So I'm going to go back into my console of my router, and I'm going to start configuring it per the lab. So put this over here, put this over here. All right, so 10 was tied to the internet, 20 the workstation network, 30 is going to be the server. So for right now, I need to change the host name because it asked me to change the host name to Campus R1, which is right there. All right. Then I'm going to go into my gigabit 10 interface, and I need to tie that to DHCP. So to do that, I just have to give it an address IP DHCP. That's it. Or IP address, DHCP, and that's it. And then I got to turn it on with the no shut command. Now you'll see it will hopefully pick up an IP address. There it goes. From the service, from the internet service. If it doesn't, it hasn't picked one up yet. I'll troubleshoot that in a second. Let's go ahead and add the IP address on 20, which will be 10.10.10.2. And turn it on. And then 30, even though we don't have anything connected to it yet, it's going to be 172.16.0.2. And turn it on. Okay. So that's all we really have to do at this point in time for the router. Other than, I think they asked us to do some routing. Okay, so the environment's going to be dynamic. The 10 network is for workstations and should only be allowed to communicate with the Windows 2012 server on ports used by Active Directory. So that's basically telling us to set up an access control list. Configure the router and set up static or dynamic default route. So that's easy. All you have to do with that is IP route, all zeros, and then the name of the interface. So the name of the interface facing the internet is G10. That's it. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's just a warning. So do a show run, see where we're at. Yep, there it is. We're good. We're good. All right. So next, let's go ahead and start setting up our VM. Well, we have another 20-30 minutes here. So on the VM side, I'm just going to make a new virtual machine. File, new virtual machine. Make it custom. Keep the same parameters. I'm going to install the operating system later. Microsoft Windows. This case is going to be Server 2012.
That's because you had selected, it was 2016, right? You select 2016?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ooh, BIOS or UEFI? I'm going to keep BIOS. All right, so now you get into some different parameters. I'm going to use one processor, 2 cores. It's still going to run slow as dirt. I've got to give it at least 2 gigs of RAM, which is fine because I'm not going to be running any other VM during this lab. Still, it's going to be really slow. Okay, so now I got to figure out what network I'm putting it on. Okay, now I can change this because I haven't loaded the operating system yet. All right, but if I go back to my diagram, I'm on 172.16.00. All right, 172.16.00. Let me open up a command prompt. Let me see what networks are configured on my system. Let me see if I have a 172.16 anywhere already. I think I do because I've done this before. If not, I need to go and change something. Yep, right there. So my virtual network adapter number 4, which is one I created, has that network on it. So in order to get this to work for yourselves, you're going to have to go into VMware Virtual Network Editor. So the easiest way is I'll fix this later. So I'm going to use host only for now. LSI logic, SCSI, create a new virtual disk. That is not happening. 60 gigs? Are you kidding me? All right. Minimum hard disk server 2012 R2 AD. Minimum 32 gigs. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's going to die on me. It's going to die on me. All right, so finish. All right. It won't take up that much at first, but it probably will try to. So I may not get to the install of this today, but that shouldn't stop you if you have the disk space. I just need to clean up my disk space.
What should we set it for then?
Go ahead and set it for 40. It's fine.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to File. I'm sorry, Edit Virtual Network Editor. Okay. So if you need to create a separate virtual network, this is how you do it. Give that a second to pop up.
So not everybody might have to do this step right here.
You will have to do this step. Not once, but twice. And here's why. So yours should look something like this. You should have VMnet 1, VMnet 2, I believe, and VMnet 8. Okay, host, actually, you should have VMnet 0, VMnet 1, and VMnet 8. I got rid of my bridged VMnet a long time ago, so I just never use it. To create a new VMnet, all you have to do is come down here to change settings, give yourself admin access. Okay, and now you can add a network. When you add a network, give it whatever VMnet number you want. This is arbitrary. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make a VMnet 7. Click OK. It's going to populate that address off there to the right just randomly. And as you can see here, for VMnet 4, I've set it up for host only. And down here is where I set the IP subnet and the subnet mask. I don't have DHCP set on this one because my server doesn't need a DHCP. It will be the DHCP server. Okay. Same thing with the other VMnet for the 192.168 network in the diagram. Oh, excuse me, the 10.10.10 network in the diagram. You may have to take another crack at that and, oh, look, VMnet 2. I can, actually I did 7, right? So I'll go ahead and fix this for, I'll use this one as my other VMnet for my workstations. 10.10.10.0. And I'll have to go into my DHCP settings because I will have workstations on that. And I'll have to change that to 10.10.10. 128 is fine. All right, and you can keep all the lease stuff the same. So now my VMnet 7, which is host only, will be for my workstations. My VMnet 4 is going to be for my server. And now I can set these up within GNS3 or within the VM in the case of the 2012 server. So I'm just going to click OK. It'll save those changes. And it'll close. You'll have to restart all kinds of services.
So you just hit OK to not apply? Or?
Does the same thing. Just closes it. All right. So now I can go back into VMware, into my 2012 server, and I can go to my network adapter and then go to custom, and I'm going to select VMnet 7 and OK. All right, from there I can go in and point to my CD, which I'll say use ISO image. I'll browse to wherever that image is. I think it's in my downloads. I think it's in my root. I think it's in my documents. There it is. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, good deal. So I'll select that, and now when I'm ready to boot, it will go into it. Okay, so that's a lot of setup. This is where I'm going to kind of cut everything off here for the first video, because there's a lot of setup involved with just getting this lab together. This is why I give you guys 4 weeks to work on all this. So I will post this one up this week on YouTube. So it will give you kind of an example. But let me just go over one other last little bitty thing. They wanted you to turn off CDP both globally and on each interface, right? So it's really easy on global, no CDP run, right? But on the interfaces, you have to go into each individual interface. So G10, no IP, CDP, no CDP, no CDP enable. So that's how you turn it off at the interface for Cisco Discovery Protocol. And you would just repeat that for your other two interfaces. 2.0, up arrow twice. 3.0, up arrow twice. You do not have to restart the interface. It takes effect immediately. All right, make sure that you do a write mem when you're all done, because that will save everything to the file. And then when you're done, you can just close that out. And then on GNS3, okay, it should save it inherently. To check that, because I did some checking for some other students who asked me questions on this, if you go into documents and users, I'm sorry, users, your username, you should have a GNS3 folder. Okay, projects. Wow, this is what I can clean up to get more space back. So which one did I do today? It looks like that one, CIS, there we go. So I can go in here, if I go into my project files, and I go into Dynamips, all right, here's my configs, here's my 72, it's all running right now, which is good. I can just check my startup config, and I want to ensure that I have my IP addresses on there. You can see that they're all there. You're good to go. Now you can feel free to shut down GNS3. You're not going to lose anything. Okay. So from that, because GNS3 does keep a running track, you have to do the right mem on the router. That's the key to push it to that file. Everybody straight on that? Good deal.
With packet tracer, there's no right mem, is there?
No, that's why I like using GNS3 better, because it's actually using a real iOS. You don't fall into those traps out when you get out in the industry. Okay. So that's that. Next time around, we'll do the install of the server. We'll go through the Active Directory setup, and we can probably get most of this other stuff done with the firewall and the NAT and everything else. Okay, so that's it for today. Till next time, thank you.